Hello and welcome to this webinar where I'm going to be sharing with you some ideas, tools, tips and tricks in order for you to get the absolute maximum value out of attending Accountex in 2024. I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 things that you absolutely must do before you leave the house. I'm going to be giving you exclusive access to the Accountants Mastermind WhatsApp group, which we'll be using over the 2 days to share tools, tips, insights, talk about speakers, the best stands, where the best swag is, and all those sort of things. And then finally, I'm going to be sharing with you the number 1 thing that you must do to make sure that you implement some stuff, the things that you've actually learnt by being at Accountex. So let's get started. So hello and welcome to this webinar, which is all about not buying wings basically and sticking wings on a bike and trying to make them fly. It's all about how you can get the most value, the absolute most value out of Accountex 2024. I have already got some questions in the system that I will share as we go through. But as always, if you've got any questions today, then please feel free to pop them in the Q&A box and I will gladly answer them as I go through. And as always, the chat box is open. So if I say something that you don't agree with or something that you think you can build on, then please pop that in the chat box as well. And you can add value to the community just the same as hopefully I am adding value today. And as I always say, I love stupid questions because stupid questions are easy to answer. So if you've got something that you think is a bit silly to ask or something that you don't know, ask the question. It's only silly because you don't know it. Very often when you ask a silly question or a stupid question, other people are dying out to know that piece of information as well. So please feel free to pop it in the Q&A box or, as I say, in the chat box. So let's kick off then. So if I go here and here and then click that, you should, with a bit of luck, I had some technology issues on Tuesday, so it all ended up in a bit of a mess. So it's fingers crossed today that this is going to work. So as I say, today is all about how to get the best from your visit to Accountex. And we're going to be looking at basically 3 areas. We're going to look at the 3 things you absolutely must do before you leave your house to go to Accountex. And I know we're all busy people and there's stuff to do, and Accountex could be a nice day out. But if you want to get the absolute most value out of your time, because remember, it's fee earning work that you're not doing as a result of going along to Accountex, you want to get the absolute maximum value out of Accountex. My recommendation is that you do these 3 things. How you can get into the Accountant's Mind Accountex WhatsApp group before everybody else, and there are limited places for that. Obviously, WhatsApp limits the number of people that can come into the group. I'm going to share how you can get into access to how you can get into that today, and the things that we're going to be sharing in the lead up to Accountex, during Accountex, and then after Accountex. And then finally, we're going to look at the number 1 thing you must do to make sure that you implement what you learn at the event. And that's the most important part for me. So the value of any event, any webinar, including today's webinar, is what action you take as a result of listening to the material, attending the event, watching the video, or whatever. If you don't do anything with what you've learned and you just carry on as you were, then it was an absolute waste of time of attending this webinar or going to Accountex or whatever it is that you was doing. So you must implement, even if it's just one tiny thing, you must implement in order to get value out of your attendance. So let's have a look. Let's work out what those 3 things you must do before you're leaving the house. And the number 1, the absolute number 1 for me, is to make sure you set your objective. So what is it? Why are you going to Accountex? Now, there could be any infinite number of reasons why you would go to Accountex. It could be the stands, the speakers, the swag, the day away from the office, the day away from the kids. There could be 101 things. It could be going to the parties, for example. However, in order for you to make sure that you get value out of your session, out of your time at Accountex, you need to have clarity and need to set that objective. So if it is going and getting drunk for free at the parties, then fair enough. no objection to that, as long as you're consciously making the decision that that is what you're going to do. If you're consciously making the decision to go along because you want to speak to providers of practice management software, for example, then that's fair enough. That's a perfectly good objective. How many, I would be asking, and for what purpose are you going to speak to those? But that's a purposely good objective. But when you stand in the parties on the Wednesday night and people are throwing free beer at you, it's a lot easier to stay focused and think, well, I'm here because I'm doing practice management software. I'm not here for the parties. I know that temptation still exists, but that could be. It might be that you want to come along to Accountex to speak to somebody like us, for example, and therefore, when you turn up, you need to run through the doors, turn right as you come through the doors, head to the southeast corner of the Sage stand, and come and say hello to us. But you need to set the objective. You need to know why it is that you're going. If you haven't got an objective of going, and you're going for a nice day out, which it is, I love going. I do. I'll get really, really excited about it. If it's just a nice day out, then that's fair enough. Just accept that and do that. Now, once you've set your objective, you've got your overriding reason for going to Accountex, you can then look at these three things. The first one is to make sure that you plan the speakers. Yeah. So think about if you're going, I don't know, because you want to increase employee engagement or team member engagement, for example, you then can then go through the speaker list and have a look at who is talking about employee engagement. Or if you're focused on pricing, for example, you can go through the list and look at who is doing pricing presentations, and then you can work out and plan the speakers. Now, there is a great Accountex app. You can download the app, and on the app you can plan the speakers that you're seeing, and then you get a little calendar and you can work out what times you can see people and what times you can't see people, and when you're going to be walking around the expo and when you're going to be watching the speakers and all the rest of it. So if you've not got the app downloaded on your phone, then that's an absolute must. And then you can work out who you're going to speak to based on the objective that you have set for going along. So make sure you plan the speakers. There is a list of speakers on the Accountex website. So you can, as I say, you can have a look, and there's a PDF, and it's all very pretty, and you can see how people work against each other. But the app, in my opinion, works better for me anyway. But yeah, it's on the website and it's on the app. Just a quick reminder: if you've not got a ticket, you need a ticket to go to Accountex. They're free, but get your ticket now, and it will save you a whole world of grief when you get the other side. But when you get to Accountex, and if you print off your ticket before you get there, and it's all folded up, they just give you a thing and away you go. Otherwise, you have to mess about and faff about with this, that, and all the rest of it. So if you've not got your ticket, make sure you get your ticket now before you turn up. So we've got the speakers sorted out. Next thing you might want to do, in connection with the objective that you've set, is plan who you're going to meet from the Accountants Mastermind community or any other community that you belong to. So there might be, for example, somebody on LinkedIn that you've been talking to, you've been following, and you want to meet them. And say hi. Well, the best thing to do is to drop a message to them before and agree a time and a place, because once you get there, there's no point saying to somebody, oh, we'll have a catch up at Accountex, because once you get there, the time just disappears. You wander around, you see your speakers, and before you know where you are, it's 5 o'clock and you're in the parties. So it's best to plan who you want to meet, who you're going to speak to. For whatever reason, there might be somebody that talks a lot about practice management software, or you might be going to see an auditor that you want to outsource some work to, or an outsourcer. There's 101 different things that people that you want to meet within your community or within the Accountants Mastermind meeting. So work out who it is that you want to, and then definitely reach out before you go to make sure that you've got some time and a location in place. Now, within the Mastermind community, everybody or anybody that comes to the stand that is part of either the Facebook group or the WhatsApp group or whatever, when you come to the stand, you are going to get a badge, an Accountants Mastermind community member badge. And this worked fantastically last year. So you come along to the stand, first thing you do when you get there, you get a badge. And then as you walk around Accountex, you'll see people with the badge on, and you know that they're like us, and therefore you can have a conversation with them. They're all about inspiring, challenging, and supporting themselves, their accountants, the teams, their customers to be the very best they want to be. So come along and see us. First thing, 1212, the number of the stand is. Come along, get your badge, walk around and bump into people. You say, oh, you know Simon and Mark and Misha, and you're part of the community in the Facebook group or the WhatsApp group or whatever, and you've already got an opener. It's not some bit of a strange scenario walking up to a stranger and saying hello, because you've already got something in common. Yeah, you've got a badge on. And therefore, the community members, we're also going to have some green badges for Bounce members, and I've got a special offer that we're going to be sharing at Accountex for you to become a Bounce member if you're not a Bounce member already. So their badges are going to be green, and then the full Mastermind members, the group that are a part of Evolution, they're going to have gold badges. So if you see somebody walking around with a gold Accountants Mastermind badge, then you know that they're in Evolution, and you can have a conversation with them about anything and everything to do with the Accountants Mastermind, and they will gladly share with you, because by being within the Evolution group, they are very much within the culture and the spirit of the organization. So definitely come and get your badges. But more importantly, with this part, is to make sure that you're meeting people in line with your objectives. And then the last thing is what most people go to Accountex for. It's to meet the exhibitors. It's to have a wander around, have a conversation, and talk to people, and potentially, ultimately, be sold to. It's what we go to the exhibition for. It's what people exhibit for, is to get new customers, and it's for you to go out and find new suppliers and new people that you want to work with. So work out what your objective is, and then once you've got your objective, you can then work out which exhibitors you need to see. And ultimately, if you really want to do it, this is not for me because this is a bit too organized, but if you really want to do it, you can mark them on your floor plan, and then you can plot a little route as to who you're going to see and when you're going to see it, based on how you're walking around Accountex. Yeah, having obviously first come to see us. So set your objectives and then work out what exhibitors you are going to see. We are going to be on stand 1212, and as I've already said, it's at the southeast corner of the Sage stand as you walk in. So as you walk into the exhibition hall, you'll look to your right, and Sage will be all over the ceiling, and all that. There'll be a massive stand. So all you got to do is head towards the Sage stand, and in the southeast corner of the Sage stand, that's where we'll be. So for those of you that are not very good at direction, basically find the stage stand, walk towards the stage stand, keep the stage stand on your left, and we'll be on the right. And I have got a little bit of a special treat. We've got a little bit of a special treat for you. I will be dressed up. So if all goes to plan, I should be in fancy dress. You can work out. This is an AI representation of what I will be dressed like. We're going to have some selfie boards and various other different bits and bobs. And I'm going to share with you something else that we're doing in a minute. Mark's going to pop a little in the chat box. But that's where I am. You see, if you look, you're going to come through S7, and as you walk through S7, you'll see the welcome desk, and then you turn right. Sage will be on the left-hand side still, and as you walk down there, 1212 is where the big red arrow is pointing to. It's going to be really easy to find us this year. Now, you may have already seen that we are running a chocolate competition. So Mark's going to pop a link in the chat box. All you've got to do is pop on this form that Mark shares. All you got to do is pop the chocolate that you want. Okay, so you type in the chocolate you want, and then if you turn up to the stand on the day and I haven't got a bar of that chocolate, or more importantly, Mark and Michelle haven't got a bar of that chocolate, then we'll give you 10 quid. So I'm betting you, as a community member or somebody that's watching this video, I'm betting you that we can be organized enough, if you like, in order to have that chocolate bar with you. So you name the chocolate bar, as long as it's in circulation in the UK at the moment. Don't go mentioning marathons and opal fruits and that sort of stuff. As long as it's in circulation in the UK at the moment, we will have a chocolate bar, that chocolate bar, on the table or on the stand for you. So you can come along and you can have it on us. Now, in addition to that, we are producing some Chaplin bars. They're not going to look like this, but we're producing some chocolate bars. Now, if you choose to have a Chaplin bar, then there will be an opportunity for you to win a prize, and we'll reveal what the prize is closer to the time. Very exciting. It involves me doing stuff for you. But if you have a Chaplin bar, as I say, you can pick a Whisper or a Bounty or a Marathon or whatever it is. Snicker, are they called now? Yeah, Snickers. Or you can pick a Chaplin bar, and by picking a Chaplin bar, as I say, you go into a prize draw. And the Chaplin bar, or the idea behind the Chaplin bar, will give you a bit more of a flavour as to, and the fact that there's a competition will give you a bit more of an opportunity or a bit more of an idea as to who I will be dressed up on the day. But Mark and Michelle have decided not to participate in the dressing up, which I'm sure we are all a bit disappointed with. What are we going to be offering on the day? As I said, we're there to get new members. We want new Bounce members. So when you come along on the day, basically, you can join Bounce for a month for £1. And when you, as I say, when you come along, you join for £1, you get everything that is included within Bounce. So there'll be lots more stuff. I'm not going to go into it now, but there's all the surgeries, the recordings, the videos, the presentations, the WhatsApp group, the tax return commitment club, and the time management course and the pricing course that we are doing. So this is the first draft. We're going to change this. This won't be exactly how it is, but this is the first draft of the stand as you come along and see it. And as you can see, we're offering Bounce for £1 just for the day. So up until 5 o'clock on the Thursday. That's what our offer is going to be. So come along to the stand. Most importantly, come along to the stand. Take a picture of me dressed up as whoever I'm going to be dressed up. We've got some selfie boards and all the rest of it. And we'll have your bar of chocolate on the stand if you fill that form in that Mark has just put on the sheet. So we have got plan the speakers, plan who you're going to meet face to face from the community, plan which exhibitors you're going to see, and the most important part for me is to make sure that you record your actions. Okay, so as you're walking around, you need a piece of paper or a phone or a remarkable or something in order to write down what it is you're going to do. There's no way, as you're walking around, you'll be bombarded by ideas, yeah? And you'll have all sorts of things that you can do. If you don't record them, when you get in the car or on the train or in your helicopter or whatever it is that's going to take you home, you'll sit there and start thinking, I wish I'd wrote those down, or what was that I was going to do as a result of watching that presentation or speaking to that person, yeah? But if you can capture those actions as you go round, once you get back home, and we're going to talk about implementing those actions in a minute, once you get back home, you're standing infinite more likely to be able to implement those actions than not implement those actions. Now, within the Mastermind community, we have an action planning sheet. And Mark's going to pop a link to that, a Dropbox link to that in the chat box now. So you can click on that link and download what it is that we use within both the Evolution community and when you come along to any of our Connect events. Again, you can come along to the Connect events for free as being a member of Bounce. Now, as you'll see on there, it says actions. I'm just pointing in the wrong thing. It says actions, and then how will you know it's done? So what will it look like when it's finished? Who's doing it? Because you don't necessarily need to be the person that's implementing it, especially if you've got a team or a VA or somebody that you can outsource for. When's it going to be done by? So a deadline. When are you going to have that done by? And then ultimately, you just tick them off as you do them, so you can see whether all of the actions have been done. Now, within the Evolution group, and again on the Connect days when we use this form, what I say to people is get the actions on there, even if it's only just a possibility that you might do them. Now, sometimes when people come to the events, they might end up with 40, 50, 60 different action points. Now, if they left with all those action points, there's overwhelm and they're not going to get them all done, and effectively they can procrastinate. So, they don't get any of it done. So what do we always say is write down the action plan, and then at the end, which I'm going to talk to you about today, at the end, do an analysis in order to make sure that you're implementing the stuff that you want to do. One bonus action that you should really be doing before you leave your house, and I've already touched on it, is to make sure that you book the parties, okay? So there are all sorts. There's Accountex, which is John Toon on the Tuesday night, if I remember rightly. That's before the first day of Accountex. On the middle night, the Tuesday night, there'll be an ignition party, I should think. Iris had one last year on the boat. There'll be various other providers, the big boys. Excuse me, the big boys that will provide the party. Some of them you have to be their customers, some not, so that's up to you. And then this year the Accountants Mastermind, we are going to have an accountants dinner in association with Payroll Sorted. So the Accountants Mastermind and Payroll Sorted have clubbed together. We've got a hotel room. It's going to be very intimate, a lot more intimate than the bigger parties. There's going to be a maximum of 40 people in there, and I think 28 of the tickets have gone. If you are if you're a paying customer of the Accountants Mastermind or a customer of Payroll Sorted, you can come along as our guests. There's food, there's wine, there's chats, there's me, and all the rest of it. If you're not a customer of either of us, then I think it's 40 quid or 50 quid or something like that to come along, sit down meal, bit of a chat, cup of coffee, as much as you can drink type scenario. But it's much more intimate. And that's at the Novotel Hotel, which is just across. So if you look at the boat when you're in the main foyer just outside the Excel Centre, it's to the right hand side, so straight across as you walk out of the Excel Centre. It's going to kick off at 6:30. So Accountex finishes at 6 o'clock. We kick off at 6:30. We'll be done by 8:30, so you can then disappear and go off to any other parties that you want to, or go to bed and get yourself ready for the next day. So that's the parties. You need to book those. Make sure that you've booked those before you go, because as I say, most of them, they get booked up and then you can't get in when you get there on the night unless people have failed to turn up. So that's the parties. Next up is the Accountants Mastermind WhatsApp group. Now, Mark's going to share the WhatsApp group. Mark's already shared the WhatsApp group in the chat box. All you do is click that link. It should open up WhatsApp and then you can join it. I think there's already 50 people in there, something like that. And then what we use the WhatsApp group for is over the 2 days, we share all sorts of different things. And there's 4 main things. The first one is for people to ask questions. So, say, for example, you've just been at a stand, you've been looking at some practice management software, you're a little unsure about the practice management software. In that WhatsApp group, you can say, hello, I'm thinking about using ABC Limited. Has anybody got any experience with it? What challenges have you got with it? What do you like about it? Etc., etc. And then you can go back to that vendor, back to that provider, that software supplier, and you can ask those questions in order to get yourself resolved, if you like, or make sure that you've got as maximum value out of that conversation as you can with the team. You can ask, say to people, I'm a bit lonely at the moment. I'd really like to have a conversation with anybody. Is there anybody about to have lunch? I don't really want lunch on my own. So you can use it as a collaborative tool. The next thing we suggest you use it for is to share ideas. So if you've seen a speaker and you really like the speaker and you think that will add content to the community, you can share those ideas, and people share best practices and videos and things that they've seen that they think is really good. As I say, last year we had a few people sharing where the best swag was. There was some barbecue rubs and various other bits and bobs. And then I share stuff in there as well. Mark put some videos in there. I'll put some videos in, a little bit of content about stuff that we're doing, stuff that I've watched, etc., etc. So you can share ideas and you can use that to obviously inspire, challenge, and support the community. Number 3 is show updates. So if anything happens within the show, so there's a special offer, or somebody announces a book that they're going to do, or there's a change of speaker or something like that, the Accountex team let us know. So this is not an official Accountex WhatsApp group, but we get to hear about stuff like that as exhibitors, and then we'll pop that in there in order for you to know about it. People shared last time that they was going to see XYZ speaker, and they went together, so they weren't, as I say, they weren't sat on their own. They could share ideas and all the rest of it. So we will share show updates within there as well. And then lastly, we encourage you to share your photographs. And last year we had a competition. So photographs with us, of course, photographs with other people that you've met and seen, other community members that you've seen. If people have got the badge on, 2 people with the badges, if you're taking pictures of selfies of you with the speaker or whatever. And at the time, you'll hear about this more before we get to Accountex. You will hear what the competition is about. So it might be the silliest photograph, or the best photograph of me, or whatever it is. But as I say, the link is in the comments. If you click that link, it should open it up onto WhatsApp. If you're on your phone or on your computer, wherever you are, it should open it up. If it doesn't work for whatever reason, then let me know, or let Mark or Michelle know, WhatsApp, Facebook, email, or whatever, and I will gladly send you the link. This is another way to enable you to do it. If you take your camera out and point your camera at that QR code, then it should open up a little link and take you to the WhatsApp group. I'm just going to have a quick drink whilst you do that. Right. So I'll leave that there while you do that. And I've got one more thing to finish up, but I just want to answer some of the questions that came in before. And if anybody else has got any question, want to pop them in the QA box, then please do. Richie said, attending Accountex as a newbie, so just here to listen. There's lots of stuff, Richie, within that. So if you do, this is like, just do this and you'll have a great time. You'll have a great time anyway. You just get more value for money if you do, well, value for your time, if you do the things you do. Sally asked, can I win the prize draw again this year? I won the F&M champagne last year. Thank you very much, Sally. Yes, you can. You're not disqualified from entering again. We've got all sorts of things, as I say. There's photographs and chocolate and then other things that I'm not allowed to talk to you about at the minute. Canal has asked, how do I avoid wasting time at Accountex? Well, for me, I've shared lots today, but the number one thing is to set that objective and work out why it is that you're going and what it is that you're going to do when you get there. If you just rock up and wander around the area, you'll get bombarded by stuff. You'll end up being sold to for stuff that you don't want, stuff that you're not interested in, and ultimately you'll walk out and think, I could have got a lot more value. You'll still have fun, you'll still have lots of energy, and you'll still be, because it's a big thing, but you'll still walk out of there and could have got more value out of it. BJ's just asked in the chat box, what's the link for the app, please? I haven't got the link, BJ. I can make sure that I get that. I'm pretty sure it's out, or was it being updated? But I can get that from Caroline, and I can share that. I can share that with you. We'll pop it in the WhatsApp group and the Facebook group, and if you register for the webinar, we'll make sure it gets emailed out to you as well. And then Hassan's asked how to focus on networking that can help provide leads to winning future work for our firm. Well, with that one, Hassan, for me, it's about connecting to people before you go there. Yeah. So just the same as I said, the community members will have the badge on and you can wander around and you'll see people. If there's people that you really want to speak to, then make sure that you have a time and a place to meet them before you go. Otherwise, it will just get sucked out. The time will just disappear. If you look at the floor plan, which is on the website for Accountex, there are coffee shops, there are breakout areas, there are relaxation zones. Last year, there was a double-decker bus that you could go and sit on. There's all sorts of things. And obviously, you've got the bars and whatnot in the concourse outside of Accountex. Connect with them before you go. And once you're connected with them, make sure that you've got a time and place for them to meet you afterwards. Meet you during the event. So that's all of the things that I think you should do beforehand and whilst you're at the event. And then the last thing is making sure that you get the number one thing, you to make sure you get most value out of the event. And as I said at the beginning of this presentation, if you're not doing something as a result of being at Accountex, of actually going, then it's an absolute waste of time going in the first place. Other than you'll have a very nice time, you might drink too much, eat too much or whatever, come back with tired feet, but it will all be just a bit too much. And worst case scenario is you end up with thousands of things on your to-do list, which gives you overwhelmed, so you can't get anything done or choose to procrastinate to do something done. So there's two things I'm going to suggest that you do. Book time in the diary now for the Thursday if you're going on the Wednesday, and for the Friday or Monday if you're going on the Thursday. Yeah, if you're going both days, then the Friday or the Monday. My recommendation is to get at least 3 hours in the diary on the Friday or the Thursday if you're going on the Wednesday, to make sure that you get stuff done. Because if not, what will happen is you'll come back and you'll be straight into client meetings and it won't get done, or you'll be straight on the telephone for people and it won't get done. And before you know where you are, a week will have gone by and you'll have done absolutely nothing with it. And you'll just be sitting there thinking, oh, well, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. I wish I hadn't done blah, 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 blah. So you absolutely get that time in the diary now. If you do nothing else, make sure you get the time in the diary now in order to make sure that you have an opportunity to do things as and when you get back to the office. And then the last thing, and this is where I'm going to trip up, Mark, because I've not given you this link. On our YouTube channel, I have a video that talks about the cost benefit analysis of actions. Now, basically in the video, it shows you how to work out what your quick wins are. So you plot on the graph the cost of doing something against the benefit of doing something, and then very quickly you draw some lines and it tells you where your biggest bang for your buck is. So if Mark's got an opportunity to share that in the in the in the chat box, then that's great. If not, we'll make sure that that comes out to you on that. I can imagine Mark's frantically looking on the YouTube channel in the background trying to find it. But if Mark doesn't post it before it comes out, then I'll make sure it's in the video and it will be in the description of this YouTube on this on the YouTube channel as well, where this video will be hosted. So but the most important part of that slide is to make sure that you get time in the diary. Just have a quick check on questions. So that's it for me. I've got a question, and then I just want to summarize where we're at. So if you've got any questions, then please make sure they go in the WhatsApp, in the chat box or in the Q&A box as quickly as possible. Tracy's asked, is there a big car park, or is it better to come on the train? Tracy, the car park under Excel is massive, and every time that I've been before, it's almost empty. It'll cost you 20 quid, I think it was last time, for the day. I nearly always go by train because I work on the train, and I'm not a massive fan of driving within and around. Not a massive fan of driving around in London. So yeah, Mark's put 20 quid and there's 3,000 spaces. The reason why I hesitated slightly is because there's always been this massive car park and nobody there. But the reason why I hesitated is because this time there might be an exhibition or a Tony Robbins exhibition or a conference or something like that, and every single car parking space will be filled up. But as I say, it's 20 quid. There's loads of room to thing me. The Light Docklands Railway is really easy. I like that because it takes you through Canary Wharf and you can look at the river and all that sort of stuff. But that's me being me rather than probably as effective as I could be. But anyway, yeah, there's loads of car parking spaces. But I, generally speaking, I go on the train because I don't really like driving in London. So that's answered that. That's answered that. There's no other questions on there. So that just leaves me to share the three things that I recommend that you do with regards to us. So make sure that you come and see us on stand 1212, which is at the southeast corner of the Sage stand as you walk in. So walk in, turn right, keep stage to your left, and we will be on the right. Make sure that you fill in your chocolate thing and then come and get your chocolate bar from us to save me 10 quid. Chaplin bar, definitely you've got to have a Chaplin bar. Chaplin bars stripping everything at the moment. Whisper is second, and you'll get entered into a prize draw for a prize that involves me that we'll share close to the time. And then, as I say, make sure that you join the WhatsApp group, because the WhatsApp group, there's lots of things going on in there, and it helps us stay connected to you and you to the other community mentors in order for you to get the absolute maximum value out of Accountex that you can. So that's me done for now. I'm really, if you can't tell, really excited about Accountex. There's all sorts of different things obviously going on. It seems a real long way away, but it's not. It's only about 3 weeks before we get there. So yes, the excitement's building. As always, if you've got any questions or any other observations or anything that you would like from us, then please pop them in the WhatsApp group or the Facebook group or whatever, and I will gladly answer them. And that's it for now, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye. Thank you for watching this video all about how you can get the most value out of Accountex 2024. In the video, I talk about all sorts of different resources and things that you can join, the WhatsApp group and chocolate and all sorts of things. You'll find them down below the video. So make sure that you click those links and take the actions that we talked about. And also on the screen now, you should see some videos that we recommend you watch next.